Hello, friends. On 12th October 1972, a small chartered plane departed from Uruguay, heading for Santiago, Chile. The plane carried 4 to 5 souls, rugby players, tall and powerful, alongside family and friends sharing the journey. The flight was meant to be short, just 3 hours, but it had to cross the mighty Andes Mountains along the way. Stretching along South America, the Andes are the world's longest mountains, second only to the Himalayas in height. While breathtakingly beautiful, these mountains would soon become the site of a terrifying ordeal for passengers.
Brace for impact!
A storm raged that day, making flight hazardous. Pilots decided to land midway and try again the next day. The plane touched down in Mendoza, Argentina, giving passengers a brief respite before continuing the journey.
Thank God. We are safe now.
Next day, 13th October, at 2:18 p.m., the aircraft took off again, pilots confident the weather had improved. Initially smooth, the flight soon reached the descent towards Santiago at 3:21 p.m., still over the dangerous mountains. Suddenly, violent turbulence struck, alarms blared, and passengers saw clouds swirling with mountains dangerously close.
Help us!
Passengers laughed off the shaking, unaware of the massive mountain looming dangerously close ahead.
Do that every Tuesday. Wait, are we supposed to be this close to it?
One passenger noticed the clouds clearing and realized the plane was perilously close to a mountain. Pilots tried to climb rapidly, but the rear of the plane struck the mountain, ripping off the back rows. The aircraft briefly climbed, then plummeted again, breaking the left wing in a second collision. More passengers were ejected as the front portion of the plane finally crashed onto a glacier below. The wreck slid 700 meters down the ice at 350 kilometers per hour, coming to rest. "45 on board, 33 survived, injured, and stranded, facing the unimaginable challenge of survival." 2 survivors were relatively uninjured, 19-year-old Roberto Canessa and 20-year-old Gustavo Zerbino, both medical students.
He's fading. Get that blanket tighter. We're running out of time.
They tended to the injured, including 23-year-old Fernando
This has to be
Parrado
tight.
in a coma with a severe skull fracture.
We're losing light. Stay with us, Nando.
Meanwhile, search planes flew from Chile, scanning mountains till night, but the white wreck blended into snow. That freezing first night, 5 badly injured passengers died, reducing survivors from 33 to 28. And using plane debris, luggage, and snow, survivors built a crude shelter to protect themselves from deadly cold. On October 14th, 11 more planes searched overhead, yet the crash site remained tragically undiscovered. Desperate, survivors tried signaling with lipstick messages and luggage crosses carved into the snow. By October 15th, water became critical until Fito Strauch melted snow using a homemade solar device. Seat cushions became insulation, clothing was layered, yet brutal cold and hunger continued to weaken everyone. 3 days later, Fernando Parado awoke from coma, unaware his mother had already died in the crash. He soon learned his sister was critically injured, caring for her until she tragically passed days later. These losses revealed life's fragility, reminding survivors and us how suddenly everything can change. Harsh sunlight caused snow blindness among survivors, but they had only 3 pairs of sunglasses to share. On October 21st, after 8 days, authorities officially called off the search for the missing plane. Unaware of this decision, survivors still hoped rescue planes would someday return to the mountains. Roy Harley repaired a small transistor radio, allowing them to hear news from the outside world. Through the radio, they learned the search had ended, crushing hope and leaving silence behind.
Search efforts are being called off. This is the final transmission. We wish you.
With food nearly gone, survivors counted remaining supplies and realized starvation was inevitable. At such altitude, no plants or animals existed, leaving the dead as the only possible source of food.
In a painful decision, survivors consumed flesh of the deceased, choosing life over certain death.
16 days after the crash, an avalanche thundered down, burying the wreck and killing 8 more. 19 survivors remained, trapped beneath snow, digging tunnels with metal poles to escape. They learned to retreat into snow caves during storms, adapting slowly to their frozen prison. Realizing rescue would never come, Parado, Canessa, and Vicentin planned a dangerous westward trek.
It's risky, but it's our only way through.
Agreed. We move at dawn.
They stitched clothing together for warmth, rationed food carefully, and prepared for the impossible journey. On December 12th, 2 months later, the 3 men began climbing the Andes with no gear. Thin air, brutal cold, and towering peaks tested their strength with every painful step upward. After days climbing, they reached a peak and realized more mountains stretched endlessly ahead. Vicentin returned to the crash site, while Parado and Canessa continued toward the unknown. After 9 days trekking, they found a river and finally signs of human life. They spotted a man on horseback across the river, shouting desperately for help. The farmer returned next day, throwing paper so Parado could write their story. Sergio Catalan carried the message to authorities, triggering an urgent rescue operation. On December 22nd, helicopters reached the mountains after 70 days of isolation. Sixteen survivors were rescued, suffering malnutrition, broken bones, and extreme altitude sickness.
Watch the door frame coming inside now.
Their story became known as the Miracle of the Andes.
It stands as proof of human endurance, courage, and the will to survive.
This story reminds us never to give up, even when hope seems completely lost. If this story moved you, many more survival stories await on this channel.